wherever you are logged in. Guys in the South, Karibuni. Our North American friends, welcome, and everybody else. So today we are going to have a candid talk, candid discussion and challenge. Okay, and the challenge is called doubling the $1,000 account. I'm sure for many of you this came as a little surprise because you're already getting into the, you are starting to enjoy the pips thing. You're almost, for lack of better word, starting to show off. And there's nothing wrong in that. I congratulate you. I congratulate you for actually being able to do what you are doing. Now, I want to remind you that when we started, which is slightly more than, when was that? We started more than about 2.5 months, 3 months ago. When we started, basically, many of you, if not all of you, had no idea really what Forex is. And I know I'm not lying. I'm just telling you the truth. Because I talked to many of you on one-to-one, many of you did not know or had no idea what Forex is. You had heard about it, but you didn't know what it is. And so it is quite remarkable, the transformation that we've had from not knowing to knowing, because initially a good chunk of you actually just thought it was a scam. There are many times I got out of meetings or out of chats because I introduced the topic Forex. It's like a no-no. People don't want to talk about it. Okay. And there's one, actually, a cousin of mine invited me into a session that was going on in Nairobi while I was in Lusaka. And this session was, unfortunately, a scam, which was masquerading as training people in Forex. So I went into that meeting, and almost within 5 minutes, I knew it was a scam. And so I started more or less educating them, or educating the people there, because you have a chat platform going on. And almost within 5 minutes, first they were polite. They tried to answer my questions, but because now I was hitting directly, showing where they are wrong, well, your guess is as good as mine. What did they do? They had to kick me out. But before they kicked me out, they tried to do a bit of damage controls. They said, there is a one Tom Okore in the forum here who is suggesting that what we're proposing is indeed a scam. And we are here to tell you that no, he is wrong. He has no idea what he's talking about. And they went ahead and said, for the record, we are the experts. So if you want to listen to somebody's opinion, then please go ahead. But we are telling you that this is not a scam. And then, of course, the age-old question, what is your business model? Do you really have a business model? Are you just teaching people how to trade? Are they going to trade and make money? Or are you just asking them to recruit people and they get paid based on recruiting? And that must have hit them the wrong way, rubbed them the wrong way. So they just kicked me out of the meeting. So yes, I was kicked out of the meeting because they believe that they are the only ones who know what Forex is, and anybody who comes and tries to tell people what really indeed it is, then you become their enemy number one. Now, in Kenya, as you all know, and most of Africa, that is a problem. There's a lot of misinformation. Hence, initially it was Forex is a scam. Then later on, no, it's not really a scam. It's just a risky business. It's gambling. Then those who finally figure out that it's not gambling, then they're like, oh, wow, okay, fine. Then it's very risky. Well, of course, it's very risky if you don't know what the heck you're doing. But to me, to prove them all wrong, I took a random group of, let's say, I think averagely, normally people who attend are between 20 and 40. Random group. And for many of you who've done statistics, if you take a random group of 40 people and you talk to them and you explain to them what you're doing or what this is, if more than half of them, in this case, even if you had 20, so half of 20 is 10. If 10 of you can actually get to understand it and actually believe it and try it and test it and find that, actually this thing works, then I definitely must not be crazy, because the assumption before was that this guy must be crazy. But here today, in your group here, I can tell you for free that many of you have tested this system, have tested Forex, and you know what it's all about. Okay? You have amazed me by not only, first I put a target of 10 pips per day, thinking that, wow, it might take you guys like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And you guys blew that, within a couple of days. Then we thought, okay, maybe like 50. I was a bit afraid to say 100, but somebody boldly said, let's have 100 pips a day. And sure enough, it happened without even thinking twice. And now I know most of you, even if I was to put a target of 1,000, you will get there. You will get there. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is something has happened. So that's why I'm taking guys to the next level, which I'm calling the account challenge. All right, doubling your $1,000 account challenge. All right, straight to the point. I've explained mostly the reasons for the challenge. I believe that most of you now are very, very, very comfortable with, okay, what we shall cover in this class will be basically just look at the reason for the challenge, then the platform setup, the strategy to use, okay, in particular the sniper setup and the scalping. Very simple, basic stuff for you now. All right. So, reason for the challenge? Well, traders now know what Forex is. You all know what Forex is. For you now, it's no longer scheme. It's not a far-fetched thing. It's not a theory. It's a fact. In fact, many of you guys can teach what I've just been talking about. How do I know that? Because I've seen your results. I've seen how you perform. So I know you can actually teach others. So you know how to trade and you know how to make positive pips. It's one thing to know what Forex is. It's another to know how to make positive pips. To be able to make positive pips, it means you have a deeper understanding of what Forex is. You know when it's going up, what you're supposed to do. You know when it's going down, what you're supposed to do. Because it's only in the process that actually you make positive pips. Then the other reason is, can we now get you into that continuous profitable days? You have shown that each day you can come out with 5, 10, 15. I don't care whether you got 10,000 pips or you got 5 pips or 20 pips. The point is, the day you get 5 pips, you are profitable. The day you get 10,000 pips, you are profitable. So I am confident all of you, most of you here, are able to have day in, day out profitable days, which to me it's a big plus, very, very big. What you guys are doing, I could not do even in 1 year. I could not. But then again, I didn't have somebody to teach me. I didn't have anybody to coach me, anybody to hold my hands. So take advantage of this. So with that excitement, I thought maybe now it's time to start translating those many pips into cash. So initially, virtual cash. But we want to make it as real as possible. That's why I'm narrowing down the scope of everything. the requirements, because I want to make it real. Now, why is $1,000 real? Because it's more realistic to trade with $1,000, which is about 100,000, than to trade in 10,000 or $100,000. The other two are a little on the high side. I'm not saying you can't get that kind of money. You can, but for now, let's try and mimic probably the real world. What is more likely, more feasible, and let's see if that cash, the virtual cash, if you were to trade an account like that, that you'd actually increase it. So we're shifting here. The pips were good while they lasted, but now you want to see how you can actually manage that cash so you don't lose it. Remember, many of you had said, okay, now how do I manage these losses? Because I take then, see now the issues of pip sizes and, that's why I kept telling you guys. In fact, the day before yesterday, somebody sneaked in FX Pesa, and I told you guys for now with what you're doing, we have to avoid brokers that have very high uh, what charges. And I told you that compared to the rest of the world, okay, uh, a lot of our local traders, brokers, still charge very high. Hence, it's kind of hard to make a profit, okay, when you're being charged very high, even from the word go. Okay, so the last point is actually to train you to balance the risk and profits. What do you need to do in terms of your stop loss? What need you need to do in terms of your take profit? If you're going to take a trade, what are you willing to risk to make that profit? So initially, that discussion was not so much important. I only cared about you being able to take trades, hopefully positively. I didn't care so much about the risk and profit part. But now that I figured you can do that, now we can slow down and try and look at the numbers and see if we can minimize our risk and increase profit. All right. In all these things, the one thing I want you to remember, and don't forget as we continue, I want you to remember what we're going to do from now on. We want to make money. And this money will be equal to this simple calculation I'm going to put here. So our money will be equal to the number of pips you make, okay, multiplied by your risk, which in this case is lot size, multiplied by your leverage. Okay, leverage. So this is the simplest way that I can use to explain to you what exactly is going on. Now, of course, there are finer details behind all this, but just so know that whatever you're going to make in the market is a product of the number of pips by your risk, by your leverage. Okay. Leverage is a double-edged sword in the sense that if I give you a high leverage or a very, very, very high might mean, you see, if I'm giving you one to one, it is very good. 1 to 1 is extremely good, but on the same note, very risky, which means if you put 1,000, okay, that 1,000 will be able to only trade 1,000. Now, whereas it is good because it means that if you do 500 pips or even 100 pips, it multiplies by that directly. So this small, a leverage of 1-to-1 is okay, but also very dangerous, because when it comes to your losses, you will lose everything. In fact, I don't know of any broker that does 1-to-1. Now, there are others that do 1-to-50. Okay, 1-to-5, I don't think there is anybody. Okay, again, this is still risky, although 1-to-1 is the most risky. Well, for now, the riskiest. If there's something like that. Then 1-to-50, okay, you start seeing that in the market. Again, I still wouldn't advise you to do that, because the risk is still very high. Okay, but by the time you get to 1-to-100, then you are mimicking the reality of the market. All right. If you go up to 1-to-800, I think some traders do 850, and then 1-to-1,000. Now this one to me now is more of now just play, you not being real. Okay, this is the kind of leverage that you'll find somebody depositing $1, all right, and they can probably trade, for like a week or something. Why? Because whatever money they're making would be like 0.0025. I mean, not exactly, but that's kind. Okay, so that even if you have $10, $10 will look like you are a king in this kind of leverage. Why? Because you might end up being, you might be able to take 100 trades or something. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, as you go down, you can take more trades, but your output, whatever you make, will be less and less. So there's more trades, okay, but the dollar output is less. Okay, whereas as you go up from this 1-to-1,000, as you come down to 1-to-1, okay, you will take, and this is a trade-off, you will take less number of trades, but the output is very high in dollars. Okay, so your dollars go high, but number of trades reduce drastically. That's the trade-off when it comes to leverage. Similarly, lot size does, but this one is almost straightforward, simple, straightforward. It just means if you have an account that maybe has 1,000, imagine yourself dividing the 1,000 into 0.01. Okay, so the number of trades you can trade in a 1,000 account will be more when you do this on this one. All right, but now as you start coming down, as you start reducing this to 0.10, oops, then you find the number of trades start getting less. By the time you're doing 1.0, so your number of trades will be getting less. Okay, number of trades getting less, but in terms of the amount of money you'll be making as the lot size increases, will also be increasing. All right. Now, number of pips. Whoa, we have 5 minutes. Okay, fine. Let me finish explaining pips. And looks like we'll have to reset for more time. For pips, that is very simple, straightforward. You want as many pips as possible. Okay. So the two variables here that have variables are the lot size and leverages, and they're both double-edged swords in the sense that, yes, it's exciting to get high lot size if we start with a lot, It's very cool to have a big lot size, but it's equally dangerous. But even though it's cool, with a small account, then your number of trades reduce drastically. All right? Leverage, same thing. The cool leverage, which is like 1.1, 1 to 1 or 1 to 5, and so on and so on, they are good. They will give you very, very high returns, but equally lethal because of the risk involved. When you lose big, 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 big. So the leverage does not really hinder your account size or inhibit your account size. Unlike the lot size. The lot size does inhibit the number of trades you can take. So the only thing that you have at your disposal that actually is music to your ears is the pips. All right? And so a smart person will minimize the lot size, okay? And will do a realistic leverage size, okay? And just maximize on their pips. That's good. However, when you become a good trader or comfortable, which is what I'm trying to help you guys to do, you can then eventually start playing with the lot size. You can still pause on the leverage, but then you can play with the lot size so that instead of trading 0.01, you take it a notch higher, 0.02. All right. And if you have a good account, you even go 0.05. Now that's a bit on the high side, very, very high. Okay. For $1,000 account, you don't want to do that. You still want to stick at 0.02. That's on the high side. But for our challenge here, I will repeat it later, we have to stick to 0.01. Now remember, we are not competing. This is not a competition. This is a challenge for yourself. All right, let me reset the clock on this thing. I said I would fix it, but I'm not getting there quick enough. So I will log out and then I send another link right now, just right now. All right, let me see.